everyone, this is Sarah and welcome to my crochet channel. Today's video I'm going to show you how to make a 12-inch wreath granny square. Now these are in Christmas colors. We've got the wreath in green, white, variegated red, and this one, of course, the wreath's in green, but we went red, variegated white. So you can do this however you would like. And as a matter of fact, I think it would be lovely in white and blues for that frozen look. Now this is a free crochet pattern on my blog, and you can find that blog link down in the notes underneath this video. What you need to make the 12-inch wreath granny square is you'll need some what I call sparkle yarn or metallic yarn if you want it to have the sparkle to it. But you don't have to use the sparkle yarn. Any worsted weight number 4 yarn will work. For today's demonstration, I'm using the I Love This yarn in metallic. We have the red, the green, the variegated, and the white. I'll be doing the wreath in green, and then I'm going to do the white, and then I'm going to reverse the red and the variegated for the next one, just so that it looks a little bit different. I'm going to make a lapgan out of these, and so I want them all to be just a little bit different. But of course, you can lay out your colors however you would like. And again, you don't have to use these red and green colors. You can use the white and blue for that snowy colors, or any colors, or even antique like cranberry and off-white. It's totally up to you and what you're going to make with your 12-inch squares. We're going to be stitching today with an H hook. The H hook is a 5.00 millimeter crochet hook. You'll need a needle for weaving in those ends, and then you'll also need your scissors. We're going to be starting with the center, so you're going to need your color that you're going to choose for the white that I have on this one, and I am using white today. We're going to begin with a slip knot, and then we're going to chain 5. We're going to join this chain 5 into a circle, so we'll put our yarn over our hook and pull it through that last chain and snug that down. Then we'll tie that little stay knot so that it stays a nice chain 5 circle or chain 5 loop. Turn your loop over so the tail of your yarn is on this side. Put your hook through, pull up a loop, and chain 3. This chain 3 counts as our first double crochet. And now we're going to double crochet 11 more in this chain 5 loop. Yarn over, go in, pull up a loop, yarn over, go through the first 2, yarn over, and go through the second 2. So now I have 2 double crochets, and I need to do 10 more so that I have a total of 12 double crochets. Alrighty, oops, let's see how many that I have. Our chain 3 counts as our first one, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We didn't finish that last double crochet. Here's 10, 11, and 12. We have 12 double crochets. We're going to join to the top of the chain 3 with a slip stitch and chain 3. And that's how the first row should look. All right, our chain 3 counts is our first double crochet for row 2. We're going to stitch a double crochet in the same stitch as that chain 3, and then we're going to stitch 2 double crochets in each of the double crochets around. So since we started with 12 double crochets, on this row we're going to end with 24 double crochets. So I'm working around, stitching 2 double crochets in each of the double crochets around. When I get back around, we'll join to the top of our chain 3, but we're not going to chain 3 because we're going to change to our green so that we can make our wreath. I've placed 2 double crochets in each double crochet around. I'm going to join to the top of my chain 3, and then I'm going to join in my green yarn. Now at this point, because we're going to be bringing the white yarn back in, you can do 2 things. You can either leave this one on here and let it trail behind, which is what I'm going to do, or you can cut this yarn if you're more comfortable doing it that way. All right, so now we've got our green yarn up. We're going to chain 3. We're going to double crochet in the same stitch as our chain 3. Then we're going to place 1 double crochet in the next stitch, and then we're going to place 2 double crochets in the next, 1 and 2. So what we did is, here's our chain 3, which counts as our first double crochet, and then we double crocheted in that same stitch, so that counts as stitching 2 double crochets together. Then we stitched 1 double crochet by itself and then 2 together, and that's what we're going to do on this row. We're going to stitch 1 double crochet in the next and then 2 double crochets in the next, and we'll repeat this all the way around. 1 double crochet and 2 double crochets. Moving all the way around for row 3. Until we reach back around, and we'll join to the top of our chain 3. Alrighty, so you can see how that's moving around. We're stitching 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, repeating that all the way around. We get back around here, we'll join to the top of our chain 3. I completed row 3, stitching 1 and 2, 1 and 2 of my double crochets all the way around. I'm going to join to the top of my chain 3 and chain 3. Now for row 4, we're going to stitch a double crochet in the same stitch as our chain 3, and then we're going to stitch 1 double crochet in the next 2 stitches. And then we're going to stitch 2 double crochets in the next. So on this row, we'll be stitching 1 double crochet in the next 2 double crochets, and then 2 double crochets in the next. 1, 2, and then 2 double crochets in the next. And we'll repeat this all the way around for row 4. 1 double crochet in the next 2 stitches, and then 2 double crochets in the next. And we will repeat the pattern of 1 double crochet in the next 2 and 2 double crochets in the next all the way around, and then we'll join to the top of our chain 3. I completed row 4, stitching 2 singles, then 2 together. We're going to join to the top of our chain 3, and we're finished with our green, so we're going to go ahead and cut our yarn. We're going to join back in our white yarn, or whichever color you're using for the center of your wreath. We're going to join back in. Now on row 5, we're going to be making the corners for our granny square. So we'll go right in that first stitch, pull up a loop, and chain 3. We're going to begin with our first corner. Our chain 3 counts as our first double crochet, so we'll go right in that same stitch. We'll chain 2, and then stitch 2 more double crochets in this same stitch. That's our first corner. Now we're going to stitch 1 double crochet in the next 11 stitches. There's 5. All right, let's make sure. Here's my corner. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Now I'm going to make my second corner. So in the next stitch, I'm going to place 2 double crochets, chain 2, and 2 double crochets. All right, so now I'm going to place 1 double crochet in the next 11 stitches. All right, let me make sure I've got my 11. Here's my corner. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Well, my next stitch is going to be my corner, so we'll go ahead and place another double crochet in there, chain 2, and double crochet, because I accidentally stitched 12 instead of 11, but that's okay because that's my corner. Whoops. All right, so now I've got 3 corners, and I'm going to repeat what I did here. I'm going to stitch 11 double crochets, and then another corner, and then another 11 double crochets, and then I'll join to the top of this chain 3 for my first corner. I've completed my 4 corners and my 4 sides. I'm going to join to the top of this chain 3. I'm going to slip stitch in that next double crochet, and then slip stitch into the corner. We're going to stitch a corner, chain 3, double crochet, chain 2 and 2 more double crochets for that first corner. All right, and now we're going to stitch a granny square style stitch across the side. So we're going to chain 2. We're going to skip these first 2 stitches and stitch 2 double crochets in that next stitch. Chain 2. Skip these next 2 double crochets and stitch 2 double crochets in the next stitch. Chain 2, skip the next 2 stitches and stitch a double crochet 2 times in the next stitch. Chain 2, skip the next 2 stitches and stitch 2 double crochets in the next stitch, and then we'll chain 2. Then we're going to skip these 3 double crochets and go right in that next corner and stitch a corner. 2 double crochets, chain 2 and 2 double crochets. And that's the way that each side will look. Skip 2, 2 double crochets, chain 2 all the way across. We'll chain 2 and then we'll skip 3 here and go right to that corner. And we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4 2 double crochet clusters across. All right, let's do another side together. Chain 2, skip 2, 2 double crochets in the next double crochet. Chain 2, skip 2, 2 double crochets in the next double crochet. Chain 2, skip 2 and 2 double crochets in the next double crochet. Chain 2, skip 2, 2 double crochets in the next double crochet. We're going to chain 2 and skip 3, and then we'll be right in that next double crochet corner. And this is the way that we'll repeat on these next 2 sides, and then we'll join to the top of our chain 3. I've completed all 4 sides of row 6. I join to the top of my chain 3, and then I'm going to slip stitch to the corner. And I've gone ahead and cut my yarn. I'm done with the white, and I'm going to bring in my red. Snug that down. I'm going to go in, pull up a loop, snug that down a little better. There we go. And chain 3. All right, now for this row, we're going to start with our corner. So we'll add another double crochet, chain 2 and 2 double crochets. Chain 2, and then we're going to place 2 double crochets in each of the chain 2 spaces. Chain 2, 2 double crochets, and chain 2, 2 double crochets, and chain 2. we go, and chain 2, 2 double crochets, and chain 2. So now instead of having 1, 2, 3, 4 2 double crochet clusters, we now have 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so now we did our chain 2, and we're going to go to the corner and stitch 2 double crochets, chain 2, and 2 double crochets. This yarn's just a little bit splitty on me today. There we go. All right, and so now for the next 3 sides, we're going to repeat what we did here. Chain 2, 2 double crochets, chain 2 in each of the chain 2 spaces across, and then add our corners on all of the sides. Then we'll join back to our chain 3. I have completed all 4 sides, and now I'm going to join to the top of my chain 3. I'm going to slip stitch in the double crochet and then slip stitch in the chain 2 space of the corner, and then I'm going to chain 3. Row 8 is basically the same as row 7. The only difference is we have more chain 2 spaces on each side. So I'll go ahead and finish this corner. Chain 2, 2 double crochets, chain 2, and then we'll place 2 double crochets, chain 2 in each of the chain 2 spaces across. 1 and 2, and chain 2, working all the way across. Chain 2, 2 double crochets, chain 2, there we go. Two double crochets, chain 2 in each of the chain 2 spaces across the side. We chain 2 and then we'll do another corner. Chain 2, 2 double crochets in that same corner, and chain 2. And then we'll repeat what we did on this side to the other 3 sides and join to the top of our chain 3. So I completed all the way around for the second row of the red, and it's looking really cute. I slip stitched to the corner and cut off my yarn, and I'm going to be using variegated for my last color change. Now you can do all 1 color, 2 colors, 3 colors, whatever you would like. I'm going to be using variegated for my last 2 rows, so I'm joining it in. We'll go in that chain 2 of the corner, snug that down a little better. There we go. And chain 3. I'm going to stitch another double crochet, chain 2, and 2 double crochets to finish off that corner. Alrighty, so now what we're going to do is we're going to make this a solid row of double crochets. So we'll place 1 double crochet in between these first 2 double crochets. Then we're going to place 2 double crochets in the chain 2 space. Then we'll place a double crochet between those next 2 double crochets. Then we'll place 2 double crochets in the chain 2 space, and we'll repeat this all the way across. And it's making a nice solid row of double crochets. 2 double crochets in the chain 2 space, 1 double crochet between the next 2 double crochets, 2 double crochets in the chain 2 space, and 1 double crochet between those next 2 double crochets. There we go. And then we'll stitch 1 double crochet between these last 2 double crochets, and then we're to the corner. So we'll stitch 2 double crochets, chain 2, and 2 double crochets. And that's the way we'll stitch the other 3 corners. A double crochet between the 2 double crochets and 2 double crochets in the chain 2 space. And that gives us a nice even row of double crochets. And like I said, we'll just repeat this around the other corners and join back to our chain 3. You can see I have completed this row, and the last row is really simple. We're just going to do the corners the same as we have already done. 2 double crochets, chain 2, and 2 double crochets. And then all we'll do on the sides is we'll just place 1 double crochet in each of the double crochets across. Another nice solid row of double crochets. 1 double crochet in each double crochet across, and then the corners are worked exactly the same. Alright, so I've stitched a double crochet in each double crochet across, and now I'm just going to stitch the corner the same. 2 double crochets, chain 2, and 2 double crochets. And then we'll repeat this on the next 3 sides and the corners and join to the top of that chain 3 where we started, and then we can tie off, and I'll show you how to add the little bow. I completed the last row. I joined to the top of my chain 3, and I'm going to cut my yarn. Tie that off. I'm going to pull that to the back so I can weave that in later. And the last thing that we need to do is add our little bow to our wreath so that it looks like a wreath. So I'm going to begin with a slip knot, and I'm using my variegated yarn. You of course can use any color that you want to. And I'm going to chain 34 chains. I've chained my 34 chains, and I'm going to cut my yarn. Tie that off, and then I'm going to just give a nice snug pull on that and make a little knot. Just so the end of my wreath doesn't come untied. And then I'll do the same thing on this other side. All right, then you need to decide which side you want to be the top. You may want to put it at an angle and make your bow here, or straight up and down. I'm going to stick with straight up and down, and I'm going to go through those 2 center stitches and just pull that through. Even it out. I'm going to tie a little knot just to keep it in place, and then I'm going to make a little bow. Now you'll notice the bow's not real long, and if you want the bow to be longer, you can certainly make it longer. I don't want it real long because if this is going to be a blanket, I don't want the string to get caught in anything. But that's how you make the 12-inch granny square Christmas wreath.